You are alive today, not because you were strong, but because history stood on your side. 300 million years ago, Earth belonged to monsters, giant dragonflies, with wings spanning nearly a meter, millipedes, over 2.6 meters long, and that was only the beginning. And your ancestors back then had no claws, no fangs, no speed, only a tiny life in the mud, not even prey, until science revealed the truth: if giants remained mammals, and you would never exist. But here is the chilling part: the force that ended them long ago is now being rebuilt by human hands. That age was the Carboniferous. You may not realize it, yet you live on its legacy daily. The fuel burning in power plants comes from ancient forests, buried 300 million years ago. Back then Earth was vastly different. The sky was not blue, but thick and gray. Oxygen reached nearly 35%. Today it is only 21%. That lost 14% turned the planet into a monster factory. Insects breathe through tiny tubes delivering oxygen to every cell. As bodies grow larger, that system breaks down, which is why insects stay small now. But in the Carboniferous, the air was like a pressurized tank, letting insects absorb oxygen endlessly, their bodies swelling as if a global size boost had been activated for life on Earth. The nightmare began in the sky. The true ruler of the air was the giant dragonfly, Meganeura, with a wingspan of 70 centimeters, and that was only average. Some fossils reached nearly 75 centimeters, the size of an eagle, but unlike an eagle, a dragonfly was a flawless killer. It could fly at 70 kilometers per hour, hover in midair, and turn instantly. Modern dragonflies already reach a 95% hunting success rate. Now imagine that ability in a body far larger. You can see why your ancestors had only one choice: to hide. These giants hunted anything they could catch: insects, small amphibians, even early reptiles. With nearly 30,000 lenses per eye, their vision had almost no blind spots. Their jaws snapped shut in just 0.03 seconds. Before you sensed danger, it was already over. Worst of all, they did not hunt alone. Fossils in France reveal heaps of giant wings. Like the wreckage of an ancient sky war, the sky of that world belonged to them. But the ground was far more merciless. The true ruler of the Carboniferous was a colossal millipede, Arthropods. It stretched to nearly 2.5 meters long, almost as tall as a grown human. Its body consisted of roughly 30 hardened segments, carried by more than 60 legs, all moving in flawless rhythm, rolling forward like waves across the forest floor. From fossilized trackways, scientists estimate its speed reached up to 8 kilometers per hour. That seems slow until you picture a creature over 2 meters long, surging straight toward you. At that pace, for decades, it was thought to be a pure carnivore, but in 2022, new evidence revealed plant matter and wood fibers inside its fossilized gut. The truth was clear: it was an omnivore, and that meant one thing: it ate without preference. Your ancestors may have escaped the skies above, but they could not escape what crawled, burrowed, and advanced relentlessly beneath their feet. Its massive frame suggests this giant millipede had the strength to drag prey from hiding and pull it into the open. And that was not all. The Carboniferous was a living archive of monsters: scorpions nearly 70 centimeters long, with venomous stingers as thick as a human hand, giant spiders, far larger than any today, and countless other arthropods, haunting dense forests, crawling through swamps, and hiding in deep shadows, where light barely reached. Every step meant death, every shadow could strike. This was no paradise. This was a slaughterhouse. Your ancestors, the first mammals, survived with one rule: hide. They never stepped into daylight. While giants ruled land and sky, they moved only at night, afraid to rise, afraid to be seen. For 50 million years they lived at the bottom of the world, small, fragile, existing beneath all others, enduring, not conquering, until history changed. What killed those giant insects was not a heroic mammal uprising, but an environmental shift they could not comprehend. At the end of the Carboniferous, oxygen levels began to fall, driven by complex causes: changes in plant life, vast volcanic eruptions, and shifting ocean currents. As oxygen dropped from 35% to 25%, Earth's former rulers began to suffocate. This was no exaggeration. Insects breathe through air tube networks. When oxygen thins, that system fails. The larger the body, the greater the demand, the faster collapse comes. Giant dragonflies lost the power to fly. Massive millipedes could not sustain life. They were not hunted, they were not defeated in battle, they were slowly choked by the air itself. The dying lasted millions of years, ending in the Great Permian extinction, erasing most life on Earth. The age of giant insects did not end in fire or sound, but in silence, without witnesses. The mice that once hid in the mud eventually dared to lift their heads. Then came the rise of dinosaurs, their fall, and an asteroid striking Earth. Mammals tipped the balance, and finally, none of this happened by strength alone. It was only possible because oxygen levels collapsed long ago. Without that shift, dragonflies would have grown ever larger, millipedes ever longer, and mammals would have stayed forever at the bottom of the food chain. Today you sit at the top, scrolling through endless videos, not because you are powerful, but because the air, 300 million years ago, quietly saved you. Now comes the warning: humans are changing that same atmosphere in just 200 years. CO2 has risen by 50%, while oxygen slowly declines each year. It seems insignificant, but stretched across centuries, no one knows what comes next. Giant insects never expected oxygen to fall, dinosaurs never expected the sky to strike, and we are burning coal, 300 million years old, triggering atmospheric changes, whose consequences remain unknown. Some scientists joke that higher oxygen could bring giants back, cockroaches as long as your arm, mosquitoes the size of birds. It sounds funny. What is not funny is how fragile our control truly is. On geological timescales, humanity lasts only a blink, while giant insects ruled for 50 million years. Look at your feet. You can crush an insect instantly, but remember, its ancestors once ruled the world. The air ended their reign, and that same air is changing again. That is the lesson left behind by the age of giant insects.